Na 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 na. Hey YouTube, my name is Vin and I like to play games, and welcome back to another episode of Vin Plays Yahoo Fantasy Football. This is my week 9 starter show where I go over my thoughts and reasonings on who I intend to start for this week. So let's get into it. Firstly, let's go ahead and look over my waiver claims. I ended up picking up Evan Ingram here. I think I dropped Benny Snell for him. No, I didn't actually. That's a lie. I ended up dropping Marquise Brown for him. Hollywood Brown I ended up dropping. Evan Ingram has just been getting way too much work lately. And so I decided, I wanted to diversify. I wanted to have an extra tight end on my squad. Typically, I wouldn't care about having a second tight end. Same thing with a quarterback. But, this year being what it is, this being the plague year that is, and you never know who may or may not be held out of a game, I'm thinking that I'm going to be holding on to a second tight end and a second quarterback moving forward here. But other than that, we dropped Marquise Brown, and we ended up having to drop Benny Snell as well in order to activate Nick Chubb. We are actually anticipating that he is going to play this week. There was news that he has been practicing without a brace as well. So there's promising news that he might play. And right now it says that he's a game time decision. So if he does end up playing, we will be inserting him into our starting lineup. That being said, let's go ahead and look over our matchup for this week. So this week we will be playing Dak in the Box. If you recall, we ended up trading Le'Veon Bell and Justin Jefferson to Dak in the Box for Nick Chubb. This was a little while ago. This might have been like 5 weeks ago, 4 or 5 weeks ago.
And now we have traded for, that's right, Nick Chubb here.
So I'm not sure that, as of right now, it looks like I'm winning that trade. If you recall, Le'Veon Bell was just traded to the Chiefs, so there was a lot of promise, there was a lot of hype, and there was a lot of unknown to go with all of that too. So there was a lot of people anticipating that he would really cut into Clyde Edwards-Helaire's work on that team, and that he might even take over that backfield. That has not happened. Sadly, not sadly, I'm not exactly sure, but that did not happen. And actually, they haven't been running the ball at all lately. So even Clyde Edwards-Helaire's touches has gone down significantly over the last 2 or 3 weeks. So that offense is not looking very running back heavy right now, which it's kind of disappointing considering it's the Chiefs, and so you always expect them to have a very explosive run game. But anyways, let's go over our matchups here. We have Aaron Rodgers against Jacksonville versus Jared Goff against Seattle. Jared Goff does have a good matchup here against Seattle, but you know what? Aaron Rodgers has a smash spot as well. We're expecting something similar to last week, the 36 points. 30 plus points, 25 to 30 plus points. Not outside the realm of possibility. We are definitely expecting that. And actually, let me quick note here. I believe Dak in the Box has a lot of people on bye, so it's limiting her options here. She is choosing to sit Drew Brees. His matchup isn't great against San Francisco, although I'm not 100% sure on that because Michael Thomas is back from injury. Emmanuel Sanders is also back from being on the plague list for a minute. But otherwise on bye, all of her Chiefs are on bye. Tyreek Hill is on bye. Le'Veon Bell is also on bye, although I'm not sure how much you'd want to trust him, considering last few weeks and what I said about how little they've been running lately. The Chiefs have been running. Also Amari Cooper and all of her Dallas Cowboys are also on bye, and it looks like Ben Roethlisberger is also on the plague list right now, and that is a pretty smash spot in Cincinnati too. So that's kind of that's kind of handcuffing her as far as the people that she could start. But going down the list, Davante Adams. Davante Adams, just like Aaron Rodgers, we're expecting a game like last time. He should explode here. 20 points, hopefully, knock on wood. Don't want to jinx myself. But yeah, we're expecting around 20 points, 20 plus points for him. Multiple touchdowns, not outside the realm of possibility. This is a very plus matchup with Jacksonville. Going over to the other side, Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen here. Both of them against Chicago. Chicago is one of the best, has been one of the best defenses in the league this year. I want to say probably top 5. So Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen would probably get the bulk of the attention in that wide receiver core. So I actually wouldn't be surprised if Justin Jefferson ends up having a better day than Adam Thielen, just because the defense will be focusing on Adam Thielen as the wide receiver 1. Going back to our side, Josh Jacobs, you know, you can't do anything but start Josh Jacobs. He is getting the work, although they have pulled back on his work lately. I think I touched on it last time, how they started using Devontae Booker and Jalen Richard more, and he only got, I think, around 12 or 13 carries last week. Let's go ahead and take a peek at that again. 8, 9, where'd that go? Rush attempts. Okay, so he got 14. I'm sorry, I misspoke. He got 14 rush attempts last week, but they seem to be working in the other running backs. Hopefully, you know, hopefully that's injury related. Well, you know, we want him to be healthy, that is. But hopefully, you know, the more that he gets healthy, the healthier he gets, the more work he'll get. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But yeah, we can't not start Josh Jacobs. Right now, I have Antonio Gibson in my starting lineup, just because we are kind of handcuffed by injury as well. Nick Chubb hasn't been cleared to start yet, but if he is, then we will be plugging him in. And Chris Carson also, it does not look like he's going to be playing. He didn't have a practice this week. Today is actually Friday, November 13th. He did some running on the sidelines, but he did not practice. And the news is that he will be a game time decision, I believe. So, you know, that being said, I love Chris Carson, but since he's coming back, or even if he plays, since he'll be coming back with that kind of dubious health designation, you know, there's always that possibility that he comes back too early and that he re-injures himself during the game, and so that could really hurt our team if he gives us like a donut, like he's only in there for a few series and he doesn't really get anything done. So hopefully, you know, if he's not ready to play, they just hold him out and they just, you know, let him sit down for the week. But as of right now, Antonio Gibson does have a good matchup against Detroit. So hopefully, knock on wood again, that the game script goes to expectations, unlike their last game against New York, where he actually ended up fumbling, but also New York ended up getting out to a really substantial lead, so they were playing catch-up, and J.D. McKissick actually ended up getting a ton of work playing catch-up, being the pass-catching back. But hopefully they could, they as in the Washington football team, could keep things close and competitive, or hopefully even be ahead during most of this game. And Antonio Gibson should thrive in that game script. Looking across the way at my opponent, man, she's starting Joshua Kelly. I'm happy that she's starting Joshua Kelly, but you know, with all the buys and stuff, that these are the depths that people have to go to with all the buys, buys and injuries, I should say. So Joshua Kelly, we are not expecting much out of him. Miami's defense, run defense that isn't great, so you know that is a place that he could excel. But lately they haven't really been using him all that much, and even when it was just him and nobody else, they ended up calling up Kalen Ballage, and during that game they used Kalen Balaj, who hasn't been on the team very long, like maybe only 2 or 3 weeks. They ended up using him for the lion's share of the work. That being said, I wouldn't be very confident in Joshua Kelly. I am not expecting very much at all from him. We would be unlucky if he runs it in for a touchdown, but other than that, yeah, probably like the ceiling I'm expecting is around 10 points or less. Going down her list, Philip Lindsay, then again, yeah, Philip Lindsay, he is sharing that backfield with Melvin Gordon. That matchup isn't awful. That matchup is actually pretty good against Las Vegas. But yeah, splitting touches with Melvin Gordon, I'd want to put his ceiling at around the same as Joshua Kelly, maybe a little bit more. So, if he doesn't score a touchdown, I'm not expecting him to do very well, which is really good for us. And then going down, we have Darren Waller against Denver. Denver's defense is pretty good, but Waller does get all the work. He is the number 1 pass catcher in that offense. So, dampen expectations a bit. Hopefully he gets what he's projected to get, around 10 to 12 points, and we will be more than happy enough with that. Looking across the way, Dallas Goedert against New York. He did not have a good game the last game, but I think they might have just been easing him in since he was coming back off of IR. Now he's had a week's worth of rest because he was on bye, so basically 2 weeks worth of rest after that game. So it wouldn't be surprising at all to see him smash here. This is probably the most concerning matchup that I see right now anyways. Dallas Goedert, we wouldn't be surprised if he puts up a bunch of points here, 10 to 15, maybe multiple touchdowns, not outside the realm of possibility. But actually, we'll have to see what happens because also Carson Wentz and that team, they're getting a lot of players back. They have Jalen Reagor back now. Alshon Jeffries is practicing in full now, so he will be playing during this game as well. So on top of them and Travis Fulgham, who has been getting a ton of targets over the last few weeks with everybody injured, we're not exactly sure how the target count is going to be distributed amongst all these pass catchers. So there are big question marks here, but as far as history is concerned, Carson Wentz has leaned on his tight ends for the better part of 2 or 3 years now, in Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz. So if things return to form, and if things return to the way that they wanted to do things before everybody got injured, then it wouldn't be surprising to see Dallas Goedert really smash in this spot. Going down the list, we do have Robert Woods. Robert Woods has a fantastic matchup against Seattle. Seattle is number 1, the worst team at defending wide receivers and quarterbacks. They are the best matchup for both the quarterback and the wide receiver position. Robert Woods should do super well. I'd be disappointed if he gets his projected points here. I'd really like to see him smash multiple touchdowns within the realm of possibility, high yardage, yes, everything, all of the above for this matchup with Robert Woods. Going across the way, oh my goodness, she is starting Adrian Peterson, jeez. Okay, yeah, just like the other running backs here, Adrian Peterson, he's been getting less and less work. Yeah, who are they playing this week? They're playing Washington. So yeah, if the game is competitive, then he might get more work. Probably not more than DeAndre Swift, but yeah, he will get more work if this game is competitive. But if it's not competitive, then he will get no work. Like if Washington finds a way to lead most of this game, then DeAndre Swift will be on the field other than Adrian Peterson. So let's just take a peek at his game log even. Yeah, it's been really 3-1-5. Yeah, man, she doesn't want to start anybody else. I guess she can't. Yeah, everybody's on bye. Wow. I'd like to think there was somebody better on the waiver wire that she could pick up, but yeah, I guess we'll see how that goes. We're very confident that Robert Woods is going to outscore Adrian Peterson in our flex here. We have Rodrigo Blankenship. He played yesterday versus Tennessee. He had a nice good bounce back game here. he looked good. His kicks look good. So you know, his next matchup, I believe, is against Green Bay. So yeah, you know, if he came back 10 points, that's more than good enough. And you know, he has the ceiling to have, you know, 14 plus points versus Minnesota. So yeah, our faith has been restored in Rodrigo Blankenship for now. And then she has Will Lutz, who, you know, has perennially for the last, I want to say 2 or 3 years now, has been a top 5 kicker. So, you know, but you know, barring full moon or some Freaky Friday or Freaky Sunday stuff's going on, we're expecting a comparable score to Rodrigo Blankenship there. Going on defense, I picked up the New Orleans Saints. They are playing the San Francisco 49ers. After the last game versus Green Bay and how much their offense was just pretty putrid, San Francisco's that is, offense has been pretty putrid, turning things over, and they still are lacking most of their players, other offensive players. Deebo Samuel is not scheduled to play or is not on track to play. George Kittle is out for multiple weeks. Jimmy Garoppolo is not expected to play. They still don't have basically their core offensive groups or offensive players. They do not have. So we're expecting something similar to Green Bay. Maybe they get a little bit better since their new quarterback has been starting. I think this is his second or third game starting now. So maybe they do a little bit better. But on top of New Orleans' performance against Tampa Bay last week, how they just totally destroyed and shut down Tom Brady and the Bucs, we are expecting good things from New Orleans this week. She has Arizona against Buffalo. I'm not exactly sure about this decision here. The Buffalo Bills, you know, they have been looking better lately. Josh Allen did have a better game, so versus Buffalo. At least they're at home though, so you know, and they do have good players. Peterson is a really good shutdown cornerback or defensive back. I'm not exactly sure what exact position he plays back there, but he does do shutdown players, or he has been better this year as opposed to last year. And with that said, I think we'll end the show here. Thanks again for watching another episode of Vin Plays Yahoo Fantasy Football. My name is Vin. I like to play games, and I'll see you next time.